Welcome back. Today we are making these beautiful Oreo macarons. To start off, we're going to sift together 53 grams of superfine almond flour, 125 grams of powdered sugar, and 1 tablespoon or 7 grams of crushed Oreo cookie crumbs. If any of your bits of almond flour or cookie crumbs are being stubborn, you can always push them through and kind of grind them down with the back of a rubber spatula. So we're going to set aside our dry ingredients and now work on our French meringue. We're whipping up 2 large aged egg whites, which are about 66 grams, and once they become kind of fluffy and have soft peaks, we're going to slowly incorporate 35 grams of castor or granulated sugar. I like to do this in 3 or 4 additions, and I continue to mix on a high speed until my meringue starts to develop kind of a texture and begins to gather inside my whisk, just like this. At this stage, you know your meringue is all ready to go, and it's time to slowly start folding in our dry ingredients into our meringue. I like to do this in 3 additions, and I just kind of fold around the bowl and then pull through the center until the dry ingredients are incorporated. I'm going to repeat that folding process 2 more times until all my dry ingredients are incorporated into my meringue. This process is actually called Macaronage, which is where macarons get their name from. Excuse my horrible accent. So once our batter has been mixed together and it has this kind of lava-like consistency where thick ribbons of batter flow off of your spatula, you know your batter is ready to go. I'm using a medium round frosting tip here to pipe my macarons, and I'm using a silicone mat that has a pattern on it already, which is really helpful so I know all my macarons will end up being the same size. You can also print out a template and put it underneath parchment paper if you don't have a mat like this. I then drop my pan a few times to help any air bubbles surface that are trapped within the batter, and then I popped any remaining bubbles with a toothpick, or you could also use a scribe if you have one on hand. We then let our macs rest for about 30 minutes until they develop a skin, which is going to help them bake up with proper feet. I like to bake my macs at about 300 degrees for 14 to 16 minutes. I find that's a sweet spot in my oven. However, everyone's oven bakes differently, so be sure to test it to get your macarons just right in your oven. To really pack these macs with Oreo flavor, I made a small batch version of my Oreo buttercream to fill each macaron. I really recommend using a round tip with this frosting just because sometimes little bits of cookie can remain and they can get stuck if you use a French frosting tip. To take these Oreo Macs one step further, I drizzled some melted dark chocolate and white chocolate over the top, which kind of reminded me of just the colors of a classic Oreo cookie. I then added a tiny sprinkle of crushed Oreo, and these Macs were all ready to go. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.